Hey guys, my name is David Bond and I thought I'd give you a nice quick rundown of the firmware updates for the Kemper Profiling Amp, which is for software version 1.8, which comes with the addition of Pitchshifter effects. Wasn't previously available on the Kemper, but now it is, so that's kind of nifty. Before I was using a cheap and nasty Behringer Pitchshifter pedal on my pedal board, which I used to record bass lines and for teaching and so on. Now I don't need to because the Pitchshifter on the Kemper is a hell of a lot better. So before I get started, for the most part today I'm going to be playing through a Fender Blackface Bassman profile, which is available on the Kemper website. Sounds like this. And that was profiled by Daniel P, if you want to get hold of that. So these 4 different modes available of the pitch shifter function, and that is transpose, a pedal pitch, a chromatic pitch, and harmonic pitch. Pedal pitch being the ability to plug in an expression pedal into the back of the unit and have whammy pedal type of effects. And transpose, pretty simple, it just allows you to take your guitar signal and shift it up or down up to 2 octaves either way. Chromatic pitch enables us to have 2 separate voices. We set the amount of semitones to A tune or a D tune, and it will follow around your signal coming from your guitar. So you'd have your own signal and then up to 2 other signals, 2 other voices as well. The harmonic pitch allows us to set a key and a scale, and then it will follow diatonically based on whatever interval you tell it to follow you in. So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the 4 separate modes then. I'm going to be focusing mainly on the transpose function and the harmonic pitch function today because I've only updated my Kemper about an hour ago. So the transpose function then, here's my original signal one more time. And if I drop that down then, the most useful function for me is the ability to drop it down 12 semitones, and we now have a bass. So to any bass players watching out there, apologies for my bass lines, I'm certainly not a bass player. The other useful thing that you could do with that would be to have different tunings on your guitar without having to actually detune. So if you were doing some teaching or you're doing some gigging or just playing some riffs and you need to switch between different tunings, you can do that. So let's just check out the tracking. This is again dropped down an octave. It starts to lose it a little bit the faster you get, but that would be applicable to any pitch shifting unit. The tracking is pretty damn nice. So moving on then, the detune effects that we could do if we're in a different tuning, for instance. If I switch to say a PV5150 profile, and if you wanted to play some metal riffs, the original signal sounds like this. And if I shift that down, then I'm going to switch to the pitch shifter screen one more time. And if I drop it down 1 semitone, we're basically in E flat. If I drop it down another semitone, we're in D. There we go. And if I take it quite radically down, then take it down 6 semitones, which is going to sound like this. So it enables us to take some pretty radical tunings if we want to. As with any time stretching facilities or pitch shifting effects, the more you stretch it, the less it's going to sound like your original tone, the more glitchy it's going to become. but it's a totally usable effect. It would be entirely up to you whether you thought it was usable for gigging. I would certainly use it if I was teaching and I need to show a riff in B or in D. I'd definitely drop it down and just use this. So, moving on to the other functions then, I'm going to switch back to my Fender Blackface Bassman profile. And the other modes available to us are the pedal pitch function, which I can't show you because I don't have an expression pedal. Someone else will soon, no doubt. Chromatic pitch, so we can take two different voices and then we can shift them about as much as we like. So voice 1, I'm going to throw it down, say, 5 semitones, and voice 2, I'm going to take it up 3 semitones. And it's going to sound something like this. It's, I mean, you know, if you're playing in like an experimental noise band or something, I'm sure you could put that to great use. I haven't got that much use for it at the moment. I'm sure if I did a little bit of digging in the old noggin, I'd be able to think of something cool to do with it. So, moving on to the next feature then, the next mode, which is our harmonic pitch mode, enables us to set a scale and a key, and it will follow us around. So this is kind of cool. If I set C major in, and I'm going to get it to follow me around in major thirds. So it's going to sound like this. Which is a little bit cheesy. It sounds a little bit Stradivarius style, but you know, it's totally usable, and the tracking's great. You know, that's the most important thing. And you can set it to do any interval you like, and you can even dial in your own scales, which I'll show you in just a sec. So let's just have a quick look then. What I'm going to do is layer up some bass lines and some chords, and then I'll just do some playing using this thirds harmony, so you can hear how it all sounds in context. So I'm going to move back to the transpose function, and I'm going to throw down a bass line for you and then do some jamming over the top of it. I need to take this down an octave, so that's 12 semitones there. And here's my drum loop, sounds like that. I'm going to record a bass line. As you probably noticed, I realised I left the distortion on the bass, which didn't sound great, so I'm going to record that again for you. So there's our bass line then. I'm going to take the transpose off, so I'm just going to return it back to 0, and I'll layer on some chords on the top of that. And now if I move back to the harmonic pitch function, and I'm going to dial it in again for C major, and it's going to be playing a major third above. Really nice, you know, it follows really well. And you might have noticed there as well, when you do little things like slides and bends and harmonics, it even follows that as well, which is pretty cool. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is the user scales function on the harmonic pitch, which is really cool, and it enables you to set your own scale in the user scale section. You set the amount of semitones for it to shift within any given function. And what I've done here is I've dialed in the harmony for a melodic minor scale, and it's in the key of C. And I've recorded, before I did the video, I recorded a quick backing track in B superlocrian. So I'm going to just do a quick jam where I harmonize over a C melodic minor backing track using some B superlocrian stuff. So let's just shift it to that particular voice. The backing track sounds like this. I'm going to play over that using B altered. So there we have it. That is the firmware update for software version 1.8 for the Kemper Profiling Amp. See you soon.